Man, the freak show, freak off, whatever the fuck you want to call this Diddy trial, it's really a three-ring circus, man. That's crazy because that's what I was calling the YSL Rico, a three-ring circus, a clown show. This is a freak show three-ring circus of a whole nother level, all types of other ish, man. But it's been debated if Diddy's gonna take the L and be convicted, or it'll go the other way. And there was some what are calling a big W possibly for Diddy and the defense with the latest grilling of his ex, who's under a pseudonym of Jane.
Diddy and Diddy's ex, Jane, the pseudonym under which she is testifying, is still on the stand. This is now her third day, I believe, on the stand.
Yeah.
She's under cross-examination, and I gotta say that at this point, Diddy's defense team doing a pretty good job of making it seem, of painting a different picture, that she was not forced into these freak-offs or hotel nights, as she has been calling them. And in fact, today, under cross-examination, she admitted that at times she would use the freak-offs as a way to get Diddy back in to spend time with her, because she was jealous seeing him dating other people.
Diddy's attorneys have been very effective on cross in setting up Jane's testimony about the freak-offs as a bit of a two-way street, that she did have some autonomy. She testified about using them as leverage in this way. He was sort of on a trip with Young Miami, and she was jealous. She wanted more of his attention and affection, and she would dangle a freak-off with her as a means of luring him back to her early and leaving his trip with Young Miami. And this is now establishing that if there was coercion, maybe it was a bit of a two-way street. I'm not sure it's quite a true equivalency if he's coercing her in sort of more violent ways or more pressure and threatening about sex tapes, but it does show that she had a degree of autonomy in this relationship.
And she apparently had a freedom of choice, at least in terms of who to freak off with.
Right, but amongst the bigger choice, she didn't have a choice not to do the freak off in general. He was just kind of like, oh, well, you can pick the guy, because she has testified that she was not attracted to this Italian guy. And the certain instance that she's testifying to today, he was like, do you want the Italian guy or do you want Paul? And Jane was like, well, I'd rather be with Paul, because she said that he had a warm energy about him. So if she's going to have to do this stuff that she doesn't really want to do, she just wants to be with Diddy, then at least she's going to pick someone that, she feels comfortable around.
It is going to be interesting. And I think on redirect, the prosecutors have to really highlight that point, what Janet was just saying there, that she didn't feel she had a choice. And that gets you closer to coercion. And you've got to sort of make the jury not remember this thing about her offering hotel nights.
Charles, one of the issues that's coming up for the prosecutors here, if I'm on the jury, all right, coercion is one thing, you're sort of manipulating things. There's so far the prosecutors haven't put on a witness that said, you know what, Diddy forced me into...
Oh, I disagree, Jamie. I strongly disagree.
Well, Cassie... physically forced.
Oh, okay, but it doesn't have to be physically forced.
Well,
if you are...
there's a big distinction between forcible, physical, and manipulating somebody.
Saying to Cassie, if you don't do this freak off, I'm going to send this video of you having sex with multiple people to your mother.
And not to mention physical force. How does the jury forget the video of Diddy of literally pulling Cassie around?
Right, and then there's that.
I mean, so that's in everybody's
mind. I think Cassie was there. You could say that, and we'll see what the jury says. But there was coercion there. It's getting a little murky with Jane, but we will see how the prosecutors can redirect.
Hey, baby, we had a great time. Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are pipe. That's my new name for you, pipe. Or should I call you CP? But yeah, I want you to stay in the light. You know what I'm saying? We had a very, very good time together. Like so much fun. So much fun. Now go rest up. Get in your bag. You know what I'm saying? You got your contract. Find a nice little spot. put your mind at ease. And yeah, I had a great time. And I really, really want you to get some rest. I didn't know about you throwing up and all that. That's when I was like, hold up a second. All right, get some rest, baby. Love. So if you come in for 24 hours, yeah, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity. So set some up for tomorrow night. That last vision we had was Dawn and ATL. So you put it together, baby.
All right, man. So you heard the good old TMZ squad chopping it up about the trial, and then that bugged out voicemail where he was calling her his crack pipe. Stay in the light. We had the best time. Yo, you was puking. I was worried about you, boo. All this stay in the light. Like, man, one thing's for sure and for certain, and I think a lot of us started seeing it with that weird ass Drink Champs footage where Diddy was making Fabulous wild uncomfortable and Jadakiss was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was obvious to anyone that Diddy was tweaked up, geeked up, coked up, something like that. And there started being discussions about Diddy's drug use, man. And it's just clear it was a all-you-can-eat drug buffet at these parties. You know what I mean? And that's part of the thing, too, if these individuals were, like, you know, taking drugs on their own accord or where. Because that's the thing with all this. They're saying, where's the coercion? You know, and you heard them talking about that. They were referencing the two different situations with Cassie. We've heard her talk about how, you know, she feared to leave. You know, Diddy pulled up on her mom and got gangster with Mama Ventura, you know what I mean? And made her come up off that extortion payment that he ended up giving back, you know, which he still took it at the end of the day. I think criminally, as far as the law goes, that was extortion. But then this Jane girl, it seems like, from all things considered, they're pointing out like she seemed to be all for this stuff in a way. You know what I mean? That like, did Diddy force her or coerce her into this? And I'm not sticking up for Diddy at all. I'm just saying, like, what do you guys think about them saying, well, he did this to Cassie, but with this girl, it don't seem to be. And then they're talking about that she got to pick the man, and I don't know, man. It's just what I'm saying. This is literally a fucking freak show, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really crazy. And that's the issue, too, that these D-Rugs that have a motherfucker all just burnt out and sick in the head, man. Like, people might experiment with drugs throughout their life, man, but the drugs will take an individual over, or they'll make a person, like, I don't even know, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type deal. But what do you guys think about with the testimony of this Jane, you know, this ex, and what they were saying about, like, she was coerced? It seemed real split down the middle, and I just don't know what to make it at. If you guys think that that was a win for the defense or for the prosecution, or if the prosecution shouldn't even have brought this girl on the stand, or what you make of it or think of it all. Because the part where she's talking about how she would be involved in these kind of activities to spend more time with Diddy because she was jealous. You know, when you hear that, that sounds like a big win for the defense. Like, this girl was clearly, consciously, strategically doing what she was doing or whatever, you know. And then there's the whole thing too about Diddy, like with Young Miami, and you know, fucking with multiple girls and everything. It's just insane, dude. Like, this whole trial really truly is. It's just, is it going to be considered ex trafficking? Is it going to be considered that he was using force or coercion? There was something I did on another channel, man, about I forget the name of it, but there's something not recognized in the United States that's recognized in the UK, basically like manipulating someone, abusing them without ever being physical or whatever, by playing mind games. I forget it's like coercive control, I think, actually, or something like that. And I don't know, I want to know what you guys just make of all this with the Jane Doe and with Cassie, and just with the trial as a whole. I keep going back and forth if I think Diddy's going to be convicted or not, you know what I mean? So I want to hear from all y'all out there if you think that he indeed will be convicted. And what was up with all that crack pipe ish, man? I don't even know. I can't even call it. And something else people are talking about is the ex was describing different festivities and parties that they were going to where there was other male ex-workers, not the Punisher, some Antoine dude that Diddy hired, that, everyone was all hunky-dory and well acquainted with, and people were watching some girl get banged by a bunch of people sitting there watching, like, just sounding like some old weird, just voyeuristic, twisted Diddy freak off endeavor. There was another rapper mentioned, and the rapper's identity wasn't put out there, but the internet sleuths are already on it, saying that, January 2024, when this was supposed to have gone down in Vegas, Bianca Sensori was there, Kanye's wife. And, like, there's already been mention of Ye being, I think Ye being mentioned in some Diddy lawsuits, and Diddy being mentioned in some Ye lawsuits. So I think, it's a theory, right? Because it's not going to be confirmed, but I'm thinking it is and was indeed Kanye. And we seen him with his nitrous binges and party. Yo, Travis Scott, I'm on the nitrous. Like, what the fuck, man? So I'm pretty sure that was Ye. But there you go, man. I just wanted to give a quick update on this all. And again, tap in with the people and see what you guys think. If this is going to, at the end of the day, when the trial closes out, will Diddy be convicted of this charges? Are like, and then again with the Jane Doe, was that a bad idea? Not a good look for the prosecution to put her on the stand, where to me it sounded like some twisted, bugged out ish, in D-Rugs and all this weird ish going on. But it kind of sounded like like I said, she flat out, when she says that she would do this because she wanted to spend more time with him, that right there paints the picture, like I said, that she was like all for this, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It just doesn't fall in line with the pattern. Like I said, with Cassie, like the pattern with this alleged victim as well. Like with Cassie, we saw the beat down. We saw the extortion of her mom. We saw the Kid Cudi situation, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that, or I don't believe with this Jane Doe, it's like the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But what say you? Tap in with it all, sub up, stay tuned for updates, y'all. It's Coffee signing out, y'all. Peace.